Good afternoon. Welcome to Yin Yoga with Kahlia. We are going to work through some really invigorating and hopefully rejuvenating poses today. If you're new to Yin Yoga, or if you're new to yoga in general, with Yin Yoga, it differs a little bit from what you might think of as your typical yoga practice in that we're holding poses for longer versus moving in and out of poses. In a more flow type class. So we're going to be holding poses for typically 3 to 5 minutes. I don't count them too closely. What I usually count and focus on more is my breath. So that's what I would encourage you to do as well throughout our practice tonight, is to focus on breathing and focus on your breath. And if at any point you find yourself getting lost or very uncomfortable in a pose, I encourage you to just back out of that pose, center back with your breathing, and then resume practice with us when you're able and your body is letting you know what to do. So we're going to get started a little bit different than I normally do. We'll go ahead and set an intention for our class if that's within your practice today. An intention can be anything, really. It can be a goal, it can be something you're thankful for, it can be a special person that you're thinking about that needs some extra thoughts and well wishes. So intentions can literally be anything. They can be an intention. I intend to have a relaxing evening tonight when I get home. It can literally be as simple as that. So I'll give you a moment to set your intentions. And then when you're ready, we're all going to meet on our mat. We're going to meet standing today because we're going to do a couple of standing stretches. So when you're ready, we'll meet on our mats, and hopefully everyone can see me okay. It's a little bit hard with the angle of the camera and everything to get it so that you can see all of me. So we'll get it so that you can see most of me at least. So we're going to start just in a very easy standing position. Our legs are slightly apart. Our hands are at our sides with our palms facing forward. And this is mountain pose or Tadasana. And so this is where we're going to start our practice tonight. And so I invite all of you to just start by closing your eyes and just taking 3 really deep, calming breaths. So long, slow inhales and then long, slow exhales. So we'll begin by inhaling and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Really try to sigh it out on this next exhale. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Very good. So we'll start by bringing our hands to heart center. And on our next inhale, we're just going to reach our arms up. You can look up to the sky, do a nice big stretch here. And then we're just going to take our right hand and wrap it around our palms. I'm going to back up one step so you can see me better. And we're just going to tip gently to the right. And try to stay here for just a couple breaths. You don't need to count, just kind of go at your own pace. Inhale, coming back to center. Nice deep inhale here. And exhale, we can let our arms down before moving on to the other side. So we'll bring our hands to heart center once again. Inhale, reaching up, looking up towards our hands, looking up towards the sky. We're going to take our left hand and wrap our hand around our right arm, our fingers around our right arm rather, and then just gently tilt to the left. Just really opening up that rib cage, opening up our spine, our shoulders. This is a great kind of full body stretch to begin with. So nice deep inhale here. And exhale, maybe sink a little deeper. And then inhale, coming back to center and bringing our hands back to heart center. All right, so we're going to go ahead and sit down on our mats. And I may have to, I'm going to adjust right now because I know I'm going to have to. We'll adjust the camera a little bit so that you can see me. There we go. So now we'll meet on our mat in an easy seated position of your choice. You can take cross-legged position that I'm in right now. If you're familiar with Lotus pose, you're more than welcome to take Lotus or half Lotus, and I'll show you both of those. So from a cross leg position, I have my right leg underneath. So I'm going to take that right leg and bring it on top of my left leg. And this is half Lotus. So this brings me into half Lotus. If this is a comfortable spot for you, if this is what you feel is within your practice tonight, by all means, you're more than welcome to stay here. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more of a challenge to get into full Lotus, we keep that right leg where it is, and we take our left leg up and over the right leg, so that both of our feet are on top, and we're kind of twisted up like a pretzel. In my youth classes, we call this pretzel pose. So this is Lotus, and you're more than welcome to stay here if that's what's within your practice today. So whatever seated position you're in, we're going to start by just closing our eyes or lowering our eyes towards our mat. Our hands can be on our knees, our hands can be at heart center, wherever is comfortable for you. And just take a nice deep inhale here. And let out a long, slow exhale. And just kind of take notice of where your body's at this afternoon. Nice deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Very good. So opening our eyes, and again, just kind of taking note of where our bodies are at and how they're feeling today. We're going to take a nice deep inhale and roll our shoulders up to our ears, and then roll them back down our spine. So that's going to help us sit up a little bit straighter and taller. It's going to open up our chest a little bit. We want our heart to be nice and open, open to our breath, open to new possibilities, and open to this class that we're going to do this afternoon. So once you're in a comfortable position, we're going to do a couple side stretches. It's important to stretch before we get into our longer held poses, just so that we're not risking injuring ourselves in any way. And just a reminder, if anything is ever pinching or pulling or hurting, make sure that you come out of that pose slowly and carefully, but back out of that pose and come to a point where you no longer feel any pinching, pulling, or hurting. We never want to feel pain in yoga ever. You want to feel a nice stretch, a challenging stretch even, but that's very different from pain. Pain is telling our bodies that something is wrong, that maybe we're not ready for that pose, we're not ready for that position. Where stretching is just reminding us that our muscles are working, our muscles are living things, and it may be a challenge, maybe a challenging pose, but we don't want anything hurting. So just keep that in mind as we're going through our poses today. So I'm going to once again invite you to, once you're settled, take a nice deep inhale, reaching arms up overhead. Nice deep inhale here. And then on our exhale, we're going to bring our left arm down behind us, aiming for the small of the low back. And actually, I'll turn around so I can show you. Kind of tangled in my sweater here. There we go. So left arm is just by our low back on the mat with palm down. Our right arm is up, but our right arm is going to crisscross over that left knee. And then we're going to turn to look over our left shoulder. And we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. One really big deep breath here. And exhale, you can release and come back to center. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to inhale, lift our arms up. Nice deep stretch here. Exhale, our right arm comes down and behind us. Hopefully you can see mine okay. And then our left arm reaches across our right leg. And then we're just going to turn and look over that left shoulder. I'm sorry, right shoulder. Turning to the right. And a few breaths here. One more nice deep inhale, really sitting up straight and tall. And exhale, release and come back to neutral. Very good. So hopefully our spines are awake a little bit. If we're in pretzel pose or Lotus, we're going to untangle our legs, maybe even give them a little shake out before we move into some of our next poses. Now, I didn't mention at the beginning of class, which I usually always do, if you have any props like blankets or pillows, or I've even used couch cushions when I'm at my home, anything that can help support various parts of your body in some of these poses, please feel free to grab some of those. I don't have any here with me today, but I can kind of give some suggestions on when and where you might like to use some. So we're just going to come back to an easy cross-leg position right now and work from there. So the first pose we're going to get into is Badakhanasana. So what we do here is we're going to uncross our legs, bring the soles of our feet together, and then open our feet up a little bit like the pages of a book, like we're opening a book. So we just kind of want the soles of our feet to kind of go like that. It's a little bit hard to see because of the dark mat and dark socks I have on, but just kind of opening up our feet a little bit. So some of you may know this as butterfly pose. My little yogis tell me it's butterfly pose, but Badakhanasana is the Sanskrit name for this pose. And we're going to be working into forward folding over Badakhanasana, over our feet. So this is where a blanket or pillow may come in handy if you want to forward fold onto the blanket or pillow. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me, and I'm just going to be forward folding onto my mat, which you're also more than welcome to do. But sometimes it does help to have that reinforcement, the blanket or the pillow, to lean onto and to hold space with, because we will be holding this pose for a couple minutes. Now, the other thing is our knees. If your knees are not comfortable like this, if this is too much of a stretch with them kind of, I don't want to say dangling, but with a little bit of space between your knees and the ground, a rolled up towel works great to kind of give us some support so that we don't feel that really deep stretch in our legs. I would typically in the yoga studio be using maybe some yoga blocks to prop up our knees, but rolled towels work great if you have a little pillow that you can wedge under there. And that's just if you're feeling like you need it, if you feel like you need that little bit of extra support. So we're going to take a moment to check in with our sit bones, make sure that we're situated on our mats properly. We're going to sit up nice and straight and tall, imagining an imaginary string just kind of pulling our spines up towards the ceiling. On our inhale, we're going to reach up to the sky, looking up towards our fingertips the best we can. And then on our exhale, we're going to forward fold. And you might come to your forearms here. You might be able to walk your arms out further. You might be able to lower your head down to the mat. All of these are correct. Whatever feels good for you, whatever is within your practice tonight is where I'd like you to stay for the next couple of moments. So we're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So make sure that you're comfortable and make sure that you're staying with your breath. So long, slow inhales and long, slow exhales as we stay in our pose here. Remember to take long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales. Just going at your own pace, listening to our bodies. We're about halfway through holding this pose. Almost there, a couple more breaths. We're going to take one last deep inhale here. And exhale. Slowly and carefully help ourselves back up to seated. Take your time, especially if you have your eyes closed, you might feel a little bit dizzy. We're going to straighten our legs out again. Bring our hands behind us. Kind of scoot our bottoms forward so that our legs are bent, our knees are bent. And then we're just going to kind of windshield wiper them back and forth from side to side, just to kind of shake out that stretch that we held. And just go at your own pace here. We'll just do a few. All right, so when you're ready, we'll come back to center, back to seated. And we're gonna work into a wide leg straddle fold. So we're going to take our right leg out first, and we want it to pretty much be diagonal with our mat. So if we can aim for our heel to be in line with the corner of our mat, that's kind of our goal. And then we'll do the same with the left. Now, if this is too wide of a stretch for you, all you have to do is scoot your bottom back, and that decreases the angle. And if you want more of a stretch, we scoot our bottom forward, and that increases the angle of our legs and gives us a little bit deeper of a stretch. So take a moment to find where you're comfortable in this position first, because as you may have guessed, we're gonna also be forward folding here. And this is a great stretch for all of our hamstring muscles, our inner thigh muscles, our calf muscles. You can keep your legs, or your feet rather, flexed or point them. You can kind of experiment with both, because you'll find that there's a different stretch with each one of those positions. So first, make sure that your sit bones are situated on your mat and that you're comfortable in this position. We'll go ahead and inhale, reach our arms up, try to look up if you can. Nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, we're gonna forward fold in front of us. And again, you might come to your forearms. You might have a couch cushion or a pillow or a stack of pillows that you can rest on, that you can lay your head against. And if you can, by all means, you can lay one side of your face on your pillows or blankets and make yourself comfortable there. If you want to get a deeper stretch, you simply move your hands out a little bit further, and then we lower our head. So wherever you're at, I want you to make sure you're comfortable. Remember, if at any point the stretch becomes too much, you can simply back out of it, and that'll decrease the stretch, decrease that stress in your legs there, if that's something that's that starts to bother you through holding this pose. So we'll be here again for a couple moments, breathing at your own pace, just reminding yourself to be mindful of your breath, taking long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales, and just make sure you're comfortable here, because we'll stay here for a couple moments. So when you're ready, again, just forward folding, letting our head drop down, and then just holding the space with our breath. Long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales. You want to kind of walk your hands to one side or the other. If you're feeling any part of your body calling you for a stretch, like my back is right now, by all means, listen to your bodies, listen to that need. We're about halfway through in this position. We're going to take one last deep inhale here. And exhale very slowly and carefully, walk ourselves back up to center. I want to shake out our shoulders a little bit, bringing our legs together, helping them if we need to, just kind of give them a nice shake out, bouncing our knees up and down. We're going to work into a reclining position next, and this is actually one of my favorite poses. So you can start two different ways depending on how you want your foot position to go. I'm going to do reclining hero's pose, so I'm going to start in a kneeling position. And you can see what I do is kind of wiggle down so that my bottom is not really sitting on my feet, but sitting between them. And I'm going to keep my knees as close together as possible. If my knees were a little bit wider, that would be bringing me into child's pose, where we lean forward. But I'm going to be reclining and working into reclining heroes. So what I would do from here is just slowly start to walk back, very slowly, listening to our bodies, of course. We might come to here, and that's fine. Now, if you have a couch cushion or a big pillow or a stack of blankets that you want to use, you can position that right at the small of your back, and you can recline over those. Otherwise, if you're comfortable here, you're going to slowly lower yourself down to a fully reclined position. Make sure you're comfortable, make sure nothing's hurting or pinching or pulling. This is quite a stretch on our legs, on our thighs particularly. So if that's too much of a stretch, I'm going to show you one other reclining pose that we can do. So if you're here and you're comfortable here, then you're more than welcome to just stay there and start with your breathing. And I'm going to show you the one other pose. So this is Reclining Badakhanasana. We already did Badakhanasana. So that was our fancy word for butterfly pose. It actually means bound angle pose in Sanskrit. It doesn't mean butterfly, but we call it butterfly pose because I think when we're kids, we learn the stretch where we kind of wiggle them up and down and it looks like a butterfly. So anyway, we get into Badakhanasana and then we would recline from there. And this is a little bit easier for a lot of people. It's still an excellent reclining stretch and you lower yourself down the same way. And then once you're reclined, you can have your hands in a variety of positions. We can keep our hands at our side with our palms facing up. We can rest our hands on our belly, or one hand to belly, one hand to heart. Or if we want the maximum stretch, we can reach our hands overhead and try to do opposite hand to opposite elbow. So taking our right hand to our left elbow, left hand to right elbow, and just kind of rest our arms above our head if we want to get that full body stretch. So wherever you're at, we're going to stay here for just a couple of minutes. I'm going to get back into reclining heroes because that's one of my favorite poses. I just wanted to show you bound angle reclining Badakhanasana as well. So get into your position of choice. Position your arms or hands however they feel right to you. And then we'll stay here for a few moments. And make sure you're comfortable. If at any point you need to come out of the pose, if you need to run and grab a pillow or a blanket to make you comfortable, please feel free to do so. Remember that this is your practice, it's your body, and we're just following along with what our bodies are calling us to do. So taking long, slow inhales here. Letting out long, slow exhales. Taking a moment perhaps to reflect on how our breath feels different in this position, reclining versus forward folding. Halfway through here in reclining heroes or reclining Badakhanasana. Remembering to take long, slow inhales. Letting out long, slow exhales. Just a few more breaths here. I'm going to take one last deep inhale here and exhale. When you're ready, we're going to very slowly, very carefully start to bring ourselves back up to neutral. If we're in reclining heroes, we're going to slowly bring our legs out in front of us. Go ahead and shake those legs out. We might want to even do a couple windshield wipers, bending our knees, and then just letting them fall from side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to work into a fully reclined position, and we're going to work into our final resting pose of Shavasana. So making sure that you have enough room for your legs, go ahead and lie down in a fully reclined position. Now here we want to have our hands at our sides with our palms facing up. We want to go ahead and just let our feet kind of splay out to the side, just fully relaxing them. And just start to envision every muscle in our body relaxing. So starting with the top of our head, imagine all of our facial muscles melting and relaxing, letting go of all the tension, letting go of any stress or worry, letting go of any negative emotion we might be feeling. Imagining this trickling wave of relaxation washing over us, washing over our neck, over our chest, over our shoulders. You might want to check in, make sure those shoulder blades are flat on our mat so that we're not in any sort of disalignment. While we imagine our shoulders just relaxing into the mat, you might even want to imagine our mat as a cloud and that we're just sinking deeper and deeper into the supporting, relaxing cloud. letting go of all the muscles in our arms, our hands, and our fingers. Letting go of all those tummy muscles that I know a lot of us spend a lot of time every day sucking in or holding in or clenching in some way. Just let that go. Imagine our hip bones sinking deeper and deeper into our cloud. Imagine our legs becoming heavy, every single one of our muscles relaxing, taking a break from carrying us around throughout our days. Letting go of all the tension and stress and weight that our feet carry. And feeling nothing but a calming sense of peace and relaxation. You're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like, as long as your body needs to. But if you're ready, we're going to start to just slowly invite life back into our bodies. We'll start by wiggling our fingers and our toes, doing some slow circles with our wrists and some with our ankles. Just very, very slowly and carefully and deliberately inviting life back into our bodies. Where we can go ahead and open our eyes, bringing ourselves out of our cloud and back into our room. And when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and reach our arms up above, taking one last nice deep early morning, just got out of bed type stretch. Nice deep inhale here. And then exhale and let go. We'll leave that left arm up above, bending our right knee. We're going to turn onto our left side, and we'll use our left arm as a little kind of pillow. And we'll stay in this recovery position just for a couple breaths before we go ahead and rise to seated again. So take a couple breaths here. We can bend our knees. One more inhale here. And then our exhale, we're going to use that right arm to help push us up back into a seated position, where we'll meet again on our mats in an easy seated position of your choice. Once you're settled here, sitting up nice and straight and tall, maybe rolling those shoulders back one last time to fully open up our heart and our chest. We're going to bring our hands to heart center, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for choosing to practice with me today. Thank you for showing up on your mat. Thank you for putting in the time and effort and energy to do something wonderful for your bodies. Your bodies will thank you, I promise. And I thank you for taking the time to practice with me. The light in me honors and respects the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. I'm Miss Kahlia, and I hope to see all of you again very soon. And if you have any questions at all about our class today or about upcoming events, you can always email us at the Programs at White Lake email, or you can call us here at the library as well. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.